You should. How have you been, Bruce?
Yeah, I'm doing better than I deserve, better than I have been. Yeah, I've had a lot of health problems, but now things are getting better. So,
Okay.
but
Feeling is
I'm glad
good.
to see you guys on here. So I thought I would hop on and see what's going on.
I'm sorry to hear about the health problems. I'm glad to hear you're feeling better.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, but you know, there are no ultimate accidents, so I can't get too worried about it. You know what I mean?
There, God's providence and sovereignty is very, very real.
Amen.
Is there a tiger in the room?
It's a tiger. Though. Is that like
Is
a
there a
elephant
No,
in the
I'm
room, sort of thing?
Yeah, it's like an elephant, except it may attack.
Oh,
Well, wouldn't that be sort of the? I don't know. If there's an elephant in the room, you're not worried about it beating you up necessarily. But if a tiger's in a room, you can't ignore that thing. I mean, you know what I mean? Like anyone who's not deaf, dumb, or blind, and even then, they probably feel it. You know,
I feel something, so I was just wondering what I'm feeling here.
I am being very reluctant to step up as talking too much because this is you guys' stream, and therefore I'm trying to be quiet. But at the same time, when we have a stream like this, usually I'm the one who's setting the tone.
That's it. So when you start streaming to your channel, it's like, uh-oh, what just happened? Is there like a rule? Is there an etiquette for just starting the stream to a new channel?
So I have my account set so that anyone can stream to their channel if they're a guest. And a lot of people do. But this is also my StreamYard.
Right. I get it. But you've done it in Luke's stream too. So it's like when you come in and stream, it's kind of like now all of a sudden, how much agency and how often do you want to pull strings when you start streaming to your channel, right?
Well,
because it kind of becomes your stream too at that point.
Well, yes, but generally, I think the etiquette, and I mean, this is a StreamYard thing, right?
Right.
I think the etiquette is whoever's StreamYard it is, because they have all the admin controls, right? So it's particularly weird here because you guys are using my StreamYard, right?
Right.
So you're using my account to stream to a channel I don't usually stream to, although obviously I could.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the situation is a little weird, especially since I do stream a lot more than you guys, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
You do. Andrew, do you have anything to say? You're kind of walking around.
Yeah, I just woke up. I saw you were streaming and I was like, I better hop on, you know. How's it going, Tayo?
It's going good. Well, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. How about you, Gavin? I think last we talked, you were talking about your brief foray into psychedelics, something like that, microdosing.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was like almost a year ago.
Yeah,
that was in May, maybe, of last year.
Well,
it was legal. It was legal and still dangerous, but it was legal. And then last time I talked to Bruce, we talked about coaching a little bit. I get to go to I guess it's a performance evaluation for 7-year-olds alongside like 5 or 6 other coaches.
It's like a way of like evening the teams usually, so you don't get like all the talent on one team.
Right. Yeah. So I have that in store this evening.
Nice.
How about you, Jacob? What are you up to?
I'm supposed to get ready for work. I have an internship I have to attend, and Father Stephen DeYoung sent me his first draft of his new book. Been trying to get through it fast enough to send him stuff that he might actually incorporate before the final draft. He gave me permission to discuss it anywhere I like, and the content, but I'm not allowed to show the text anywhere. I did do. I took a screenshot of 3 words though, and I've been showing those 3 words to
You
people.
gonna push the boundaries?
Yes, I pushed the boundaries. I took a screenshot of 3 words. I think Bruce will really like these 3 words. Let me see if I can find it.
I was looking at Eastern Orthodoxy yesterday, and I noticed Father Stephen DeYoung on like an Orthodoxy website. And I'm like, that's strange because I've seen him around, so it's a little bit strange.
He's a pretty prominent guy. So these are the 3 words.
There goes the tiger. I knew the tiger was in the room. Golly, just waiting for it. Golly.
Sorry, guys, I gotta go.
There goes the agency.
There it goes.
So he just like drops a bomb and leaves.
That's we need saving
Confidential
throws.
phone call.
Post and ghost.
I like that.
I'm gonna jump off here real quick, but before I do want to promote Chad's stream coming up in half an hour or so. The tease for that is you get to see that Chad is not a good person. I'm trying to find the. There we go. So everyone, go watch the show premiere today, and we can all go judge Chad for being a not great person. But thanks for the chat, guys. I'm off. I'm
Thank
off
you,
to grab
Tayo.
hours.
See you later.
Now we have the tiger has left. I called Tayo the ambassador. The ambassador has left.
Oh.
I really like Tayo. Now we're streaming the Jacob stream. We could, if we start promoting Jesus, he might have to come in and pull us.
Oh. Well, I assume he's well aware of that possibility.
So I can hide a current comment. So I think last time we talked, Bruce, you had tried to encourage the cultivating relationships as a coach with parents. And then, what occurred to me is maybe even cultivating relationships with other coaches in the same that play, have their teams play against each other.
Yeah, I think it's one of the undervalued, circumstances that comes out of coaching is not just the relationship with the children or getting them to win or lose or, skills, but, engaging in relationships intimately with the family that puts their children there. Cause you're endowed with responsibility. And I think that, parents or guardians of the children would also benefit from the relationship, back and forth with the coach, because in a certain sense, the work that you do on the field or in practice should hopefully apply in the household too. And so if you can instill some of the values that you're hoping to impart on the children and have them reinforce such things at home, that I think that would be better for everyone involved. So you kind of act as it's a missional field in a certain sense. And you're not just engaging with the children,
Right.
It's also the parents.
Right. Like when someone gets hurt, let's have compassion. That's not the time to go try to score the point.
Yeah. Especially at young ages,
Yeah. So I get to do that this evening. It'll be my first time coaching a team. So
Nice.
I get to try to learn how to make it fun.
You read all the Vince Lombardi books, You watch Remember the Titans.
My approach is I want to share, I'm on a thread with these coaches. My approach is I want to like make sure they have my name. They can save. I want to encourage them to save my contact info, and then encourage them to like share if they have anything that like they find useful in being a coach. I'd like them to try to share with me. So I think that's going to be my strategy.
Sure.
Something
Sure.
like that.
There's
It's
also
been-
a lot of like organizational, sort of paperwork sort of stuff that tends to come along with coach too. You have to like balance all of the schedules and you know what I mean, and penciling
Oh, yeah.
ins and coordination. So there's like coaching is such a diverse set of skills that you have to juggle.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
And I'm nervous about it. So,
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, you do have a lot of responsibility. That's true.
well, I saw the coaches before and I was like, I can do better than those coaches. So,
Oh no.
well, with my daughter, it was, she didn't want to play anymore. I was like, well, just give it one more chance and I'll be your coach.
She didn't want to play because she didn't like the coach or the like.
She just got like, the coach is just trying to yell out commands and she didn't want to be yelled at. And so
Oh, I see.
she kind of was defeated by the coach just trying to get the players to do what they should do and even trying to encourage and motivate them. And she just,
Yeah.
and that could be, on me to a degree. Right.
Right.
So,
Right. I think one of the things that's like great if you can is you have a couple of multiple coaches or family helpers to break things up into groups
right.
so that you can like skill focus and not have people waiting around while you're waiting. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So you
Little
kind of-
stations.
Yeah. Introduce a concept, demo it, and then break into the groups and apply the concept for a while.
Well, I think with my children, I have to, especially my children, maybe not the team, but I need to make sure they get used to hearing communication that is loud and it is understood and has learned that this is normal. Right?
Well, what if you like did a call response thing where you like yelled and you're expecting them to respond, you know what I mean? But to make it fun, right? 'Cause they're young.
Simon
Yeah,
says.
so like create a team creed or cheer at first, you know what I mean? And to get them to respond to that and they'll get excited because they're involved and then they'll get used to the yelling,
Right.
something
I
like
think-
that.
One time I cheered my son. I was like, go. And I yelled and he like stopped in the middle of play and turned and looked.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no.
Yeah,
So,
because he
we
thinks
have to
you're
practice.
trying to get his attention.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like-
just clap, no yelling, or point.
I don't know. Like, I mean, these are the things that I'm going to have to figure out. So,
Yeah, it's going to be, how long is it? Like a 6-week season, 12 weeks? Is it long?
I don't even know. I was told 2 days before the evaluations. It's like, show up. We're going to give you the list of names and you grade them. And then you'll have to figure out how to balance the team. So I'm learning as I go.
Good luck. That sounds like fun. Yeah. So it's 7-year-olds, you said?
Yes, these are
Yeah.
8U.
Yes, that's like herding cats in soccer. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's just at least get them to follow the ball and try and spread out. Otherwise, they'll just bunch into a corner. And then, it's anyone who learns how to spread out in that league that can pass wins every game.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so hard.
Yeah, there's some basics.
Yeah. And I actually hate soccer, but I appreciate it for kids at that age. It's probably partly because I'm a horrible like distance runner. So like
Yeah.
I'm not going to be super stoked about running 5 miles a game. You know what I mean? So there's that. I was goalie for 3 years, but you know what I mean? Like that was,
Yeah.
so that's fun. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. You're not a midfielder if you don't want to run.
I mean, I don't know if you're in anyone if you don't want to run in soccer the way when I watch it. Even defense has to move quite a bit.
Right.
It's a big field.
Right. Exactly. We were talking earlier, and I'm gonna have to figure out when I need to end this. Probably soon. We were talking about the model, the personal versus and the impersonal, and being able to juggle both. And so that's going to be, I think that's key to a lot of this stuff. So I want to try to make sure I get to know each of these players individually. And it's true, even in these conversations, it's like, I need to get to know Bruce better. And here's the Jedi mind trick that Paul Vanderklay pulls is, Bruce, tell me about the home you grew up in.
Right. Yeah.
There you go. There's a
Oh, you want me to answer that? Oh,
tell
gosh,
me,
that's too
tell me
hard.
It's too hard.
It's too hard because it wasn't consistent. It was that my home was I moved a lot, had multiple parents, et cetera, multiple schools. You know, I went to
Multiple places, multiple parents, multiple schools.
yeah, well, step parents, right, grandparents, father, mother. So I think I went to 4 elementary school, three elementary schools, 3 middle schools, or no, 2 middle schools and 2 high schools. Yeah, in multiple states, with multiple guardians, all the while maintaining like a relationship with my extended family pretty well, like uncles on the most bedrock of people were the uncles on both sides of the family, and but not not my parents per se. They were there for a lot, but there was a lot of disjointed, relationship with me and my mother and me and my father, and back and forth, and me and my brother. So there was a lot of splitting in my household. So my home was, I would never say I had a bad childhood or anything like that. And I think I had a great one compared to many, but
Right.
it's not consistent. It's definitely varied.
The theme is not knowing where you'll be next year.
Well, no, that probably is a little extreme, but for me, the theme was like learning to roll with the punches and
Nice.
be as winsome as I could to get relationships, or be as, so it worked out in my favor in some sense, because I'm a Renaissance man of sorts. So I truly think I could embody that idea of all things to all people, because I was constantly moving between people groups, communities, locales. So in order to get a relationship struck up, I might adopt some of the skills, preferences, or hobbies of that world to try and break into a relationship. Now, sports were pretty consistent, but that was pretty common. I think I moved in and out of lots of different spheres for hobbies and interests and things like that, so that I could try my best at striking up relationship, conversation, otherwise with people. But on the flip side, because I moved so often, I never had deep relationships with anyone, like best friend sort of thing. That doesn't really exist for me.
Yeah. And these words are spells. They're powerful. And I'm going to invite Andrew. You want to cast some spells here?
Sure, man. I like wizardry.
Cast them, Andrew. Cast the spells.
Ooga booga. Shoobly doo.
Oh, man. So let me cast a spell.
He's eating his Frosted Flakes, man. You're getting on him.
He's busy.
He's got a tiger for real on his box.
We have made the tiger domestic.
Yeah,
We have domesticated the tiger.
Isn't that like so like the comfort Western culture, American culture is like, let's take the disgusting mean tiger that should kill us and put it on a cereal box and make it super palatable and sweet.
That's wild. Like that's some spell right there.
Removing the fangs from the tiger.
Oh man.
No more claw. We've declawed all our animals, including the tigers in the wild, and put them on a cereal box. I think I'm writing a stand-up bit right now. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. You got to think, and then think about all my wife and I were talking about. It's like the things that cause us stress. There's so many things that cause us stress on these screens, which we can't even have. We don't even have the agency to deal with. And then, we might even be ignoring the tiger that maybe we could do something about.
Yeah. Or you could just admit that tiger's a paper tiger and it's not real.
Yeah.
You're too good, Bruce. You're too good.
Excuse me. Sorry. I've just had this like lasting congestion since the weather in the mid-Atlantic just swings all the time. It's like 50 and sunny out today, but it's like 20 degrees the other day, and it's annoying.
Andrew, you want to do the very short version of tell me about the home you grew up in?
I'll pass.
Well, what about you, Gavin? What's the home you grew up in?
Oh man. Like when I asked my wife this question, she went really technical. 2-bedroom house, 1 bathroom.
Yeah, that's one way to answer it. Was it rancher style or was it shaker house? Like,
And no cable TV. It was no central heat and air. There were some mice, some roaches. Now I grew up. My mom died before I was 3. I grew up with a
Mm.
brother who's just under a year younger, and my father. And so we lived with the toilet seats up.
wild, dude. I'm sorry to hear that.
It
I
was
know it's been
when
a
you're
long
in
time,
it.
but
Yeah, when you're in it, it's not it's not something you really notice, or it's not something I noticed when you're in it. You just
this is
do it.
normal.
Yeah, kind of
normal,
like
yeah.
you're saying, you just kind of roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're very anti-fragile.
Yeah. Well,
Or I
that's
guess you can be.
interesting.
Maybe it breaks people, but
Did you stay in the same house when you were a kid? With your dad? You didn't move a whole lot or anything like that?
yeah, same house, same house. We would go traveling and go to like the beach and go to the river, and then my mom's sister would take care of us for longer stays, like a few weeks at a time. So that was cool.
No remarrying or stepmother situation that you dealt with?
Stepmother was like when I was like 15 or 16 years
Later.
old.
Okay.
Right.
Later in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is a totally different experience. I can't imagine, like, the perspective. It's hard for me to imagine that.
This is a cool spell to cast though, because it's like Paul talked to Elizabeth Oldfield, and she pointed it out. Like it's like you're connecting with the child when you cast that spell. It's like, and I'm using those phrases, but yeah, when you ask about, tell me about the home you grew up in, it's like all of a sudden we get to remember ourselves as children. The people who are listening can then, maybe be a little more patient with this child. You're not just, Bruce with this hat that says NY, and this necklace and this amazing camera and mic, all
I see.
of a sudden you're connecting at another level. It gets a little deeper. Gets a little
Right, sure.
Yeah.
So you can kind of sort of envision the child.
the
Although,
whole person. You're getting closer
Yeah.
to the whole person, even though you.
yeah, even
How
though,
can
what
you
does
ever
that
know the
really
whole
mean?
person?
Yeah,
But it's closer.
yeah. Well, it also personalizes the person on the screen a little more, right? Because where we sort of have it's 2D, right, and we're just getting like a almost a veneer or a facsimile of what a person is.
Well, there's it was mentioned in the stream on the stream with Grail Country and Luke Thompson, this idea of models, and so there might be these degrees of separation, and we maybe try to fit the other person into a model, and so there's some kind of assumption and maybe some prejudice. But when you go into story and try to get to know the person, it's a bit more loving and caring at that point. You're no longer just this model, right?
Mm-hmm.
But-
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can assume a lot of things about a person because of your past experiences with people that look similarly or talk similarly or
Right.
come from similar backgrounds, and then you talk to a person, and you may have no idea what truly shaped them or what their proclivities are or anything like that.
Yeah, my accent might make me sound dumb.
Yeah, that's a funny thing, right? There's an interesting. I was thinking about this the other day with the South or Midwest. There's sort of two things that go on. There's, like you said, dumb. That's assumed as stereotypical, and then there's like highfalutin sort of aristocracy in the Southern accent.
Right.
Whereas in my world, since I'm from New York and people in our language, I don't think there's ever been. I'm trying to think of somebody that has a New York accent that's seen as intellectual. That's not the case usually ever. It's definitely stupid or a brute for the most part. I don't think I can think of a stereotype that fits the intellectual, New Yorker type.
Right.
Unless, well, that's not necessarily true. There might be another, but generally speaking, you don't get. I don't see that, at least. But maybe that's just me being self-deprecating. But I just don't ever see that portrayed that way in popular culture, at least.
Right.
Intellectual New Yorkers, like it's not usually spun that way.
Right.
But where are you from? Are you from Georgia?
White. E.B. White. That's your counterexample.
Oh, E.B. White.
Yeah.
The corgi.
But even in that case, yeah, you might be right. I can't think of what E.B. White sounded like though. But
Right.
Are you from Georgia, Gavin?
Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. All right. Close enough. My mother-in-law lives in Mobile.
Mobile?
Mm-hmm.
Mobile?
Mobile. I don't know how you say it. How do I say it? Mobile?
You said mobile. Yeah, I come from a place called Opelika.
Is that north, south, central?
Central, East Central.
Okay. Are you a Auburn fan or a?
I went to Auburn.
Yeah. So, well, or are you a fan of football in general? I should.
I
ask.
was
just assumed
I
that.
was a fan. I was
Yeah.
a fan. I know what it feels like to have the ups and downs with your team and all that.
Are you still an Auburn fan, like football wise? You follow it, or is it not your thing?
I did not watch. Like I didn't watch any this year. So it's been a few years where I've paid much attention to Auburn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But I'd like to
me.
go to some games and just kind of do that as an event with the children. But
oh yeah, dude, that would be awesome. I'm sure because they're huge stadiums in college.
yeah, there's tailgating. There's I
Mhm.
mean gymnastics. I went to some gymnastics competitions when I think they call them meets. Whenever I was young,
gymnastics meet. Yeah.
So yeah, college football is the most popular religion in the Southeast.
Absolutely, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I don't. Over here, it's big in some but Northeast, mid. Yeah, where it's not as big of a deal, but the teams aren't like juggernauts either. So, I didn't have like a college football, team that I followed at all ever. I've always been a major sports, pro sport guy. But Alabama's fascinating. I've never been there. I really want to go.
Have you ever become depressed during a game because your team is down? Do you know that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I've been depressed to some clinically measurable degree.
What about anger? What about becoming violent and anger?
I mean, I've been passionate, upset, etc., but it doesn't really last for very long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're not the kind that will like break a television.
No way, dude. That's
No
never
way.
been. No, I've never been that situation.
Are you aware of those people?
Yeah, there's lots of people I knew that were like that. There's half the people I go to the games with are like that. I do love it though, believe me, and I love the whole like us versus them battle, all that stuff. Like, you want to flip off Boston. I get it, but I think also that I have a bit of respect for that scenario because if you've ever been to a game with rivals, like if you start jawing, you're gonna get punched in the face, and I really would rather not.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep it at arm's length, even though I love it to death. I'm a huge sports fan, but not like that, man. I see that too often. People whose ritual in life revolves around their team loss or wins. Mm-mm.
This is a deep theological conversation.
Well, I mean, it kind of is. To be fair, it's a. I mean, people who have basically created an idol of sports, that's an absolute problem.
Well, could it be that like our denominations and things like that end up being similar and we can end up like having those similar kinds of spirit, like in all kinds of places?
Yeah. Sure.
It's called my daddy's better than yours.
Yeah, I think there's
the children are like, my daddy's better than your daddy.
Yep. I think that's right. I think it could be wrong. There's not a lot of charity offered in some of those scenarios, but I do think that I don't want to say that someone shouldn't stick to their convictions. Far be it for me to say somebody should just bend to the will of the person they're talking to and sacrifice what they think is truth. But not a big fan of the fighting for the sake of fighting. But also, don't sacrifice truth if you don't have to.
I think that's cowardice, Bruce.
Yeah,
I think that's just pure cowardice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least in my world, I have a theology of denominationalism, so we should have a lot more charity to one another. If you're in the papist world or the magisterial world, it's a lot harder to be so friendly and ecumenical in any way. But in our world, there's so much room for that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I am going to have to call this pretty soon. I wish I had the clip. It's like, is there anything else you'd like to say? In the voice of Kermit the Frog and then the image of Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's nice talking to you, Bucko.
I get to troll him now. I get to troll old Jordan Peterson.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on then.
Yeah,
Good
Bruce, I
feedback.
wish I could do this longer, but yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah. See you later, man. See you, Andrew.
Bye bye, people. Stay nice. Oh, Andrew's waiting for me to leave. You have any last words, Andrew?
Mm.
You want to throw it out there on Jacob's channel?
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
All right. Bye bye, people. I'll leave it at love God and love your neighbor as yourself. There we go.
Woohoo!
Woohoo. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. No, just me. Hey, yo, I thought they would end the stream. Now you gotta hear all of Andrew's wild takes. I'm just kidding. We'll end it off here. Bye-bye.